Welcome back. My guest today is, when I first started this podcast, she was one of the main people that I actually wanted on because we've been friends for like 10 years. And every time I see her do an interview, we get the character, but I wanted the real Nicolette. So welcome to the show. She is, she's a former Playmate. She's one of the biggest adult content creators on the planet. And she's a really funny person. Welcome, Nicolette Shea. How you doing, Nicolette?
You're a very funny person, Michael.
Okay, so here's what we're going to do. Memory lane. Do you remember how we met?
I've known you a very long time.
Yes. It was Babes in Toyland.
Right.
And I was like the first one that I ever did. And you came up and like I think you took the microphone from me or something. And then like,
really?
Yes. You started like doing
in the club.
A booty dance. No, we were at Avalon in Los Angeles.
Oh my God.
And my videographer like fell in love with you. He started filming you like up and down. You don't remember any of this? No, probably not.
That's been a minute.
Yes. That was probably 8 years ago.
I don't know how, yeah. Oh, talking to the mic.
Yeah. And then the second time we ever met was at Military Island for the Maxim party. Do you remember the Maxim Super Bowl party? You went with Chloe and CJ and all those people? Okay. And then at the end of it, we did like a group call because me and CJ were like best friends, right?
Yeah.
And we're still best friends. And then you flashed me. I remember that. We had never, it was like, she just flashed me. Yes. You don't remember this? Yeah. I just wanted to see your reaction to this. It's so fucking funny.
I'd have to think about that one.
Yeah.
Because, what year was this?
This is 2015, 2016.
Okay.
Yeah. This is a while ago.
I feel like I've reinvented myself.
You have.
Myselves. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Myself.
So one of the things I think that makes your story unique is that because you were most girls who do adult stuff, they do that, but you actually were a published Playboy model before, hit 1 million followers on Instagram before, started doing studio porn, and then at the end did OnlyFans, which most people did it the other way around, which is really unique about your story.
Yeah. I just followed my own path. I wanted to just make cool stuff with cool people.
Yeah.
And I never pushed my career all that hard. So
yeah.
I just I'm just me. I'm just a girl.
Yeah.
At the end of the day. And I don't push anything. I don't try to manufacture what's not real.
You told me you were 5'10". I didn't believe that you are 5'10", but you always have heels on,
yeah,
right?
I'm 5'10".
So my question is, did you play any sports in school, like in high school, junior high?
I was a cheerleader,
okay.
8th grade.
8th grade?
Yeah.
You didn't play any sports?
I did cross country running, but that was about it. And then I just got into bodybuilding for a little while, and then now I just primarily do hot yoga.
Okay, I didn't know about the bodybuilding thing. So this is right out of high school you were doing bodybuilding?
No, I did it from the time I was 25 to 30, I still do it.
Did you compete?
No, I never got to the point of competing, and I think now I'm kind of getting softer a little bit more, but I like it.
Yeah.
I just like it. So I don't know. I like to feel anything feminine.
Sure.
I guess you would say.
Yeah.
But right now I'm just really into hot yoga. So I'm I like the feeling I get when I'm doing it.
What kind of clique were you in junior high and high school?
More so nerdy. I'm very introvert, so I just kept to myself most of the time.
Yeah.
And
chess club, debate club.
Always really, really tall.
Yeah.
Throughout growing up, so and I have red hair naturally. So.
I've seen you with red hair before, but I didn't know that was your natural hair color.
Yeah.
Your family's your last name's Forshi, so Irish?
I'm Yugoslavian, French, and Irish.
Okay. Yes. I did not know the Yugoslavian part. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So in high school, your first high school boyfriend?
My first high school boyfriend, senior year.
So you didn't, before that, you were just not interested in boys?
he was a senior, I was a sophomore.
Okay.
But from the time I was 13 all the way up until 15, I was in I guess you would call it a place for bad girls.
Okay. Go ahead. How did you end up there?
When I was 13, I had just started the 8th grade.
Okay.
And I had snuck out a couple times, and then it was just the decision for me to go there by my family. So, and then I went and I was like in Utah. And so I actually like, I was in one of the same places that like Paris Hilton, like that she went to in Utah. So
Like a boarding school.
well, no, not exactly. So the first one was like a wilderness program. And it was like, we would just hike like 13 miles a day. Like, well, because initially when I went there, I had asthma when I first got there. So I was complaining. And the camp counselor said that because I complained, they actually transferred me to a harder camp. And at the harder camp was hiking 13 miles a day at the time.
Wow.
And so I was 13 turning 14. So like like once a week they would come and like drop off our rations for that week. So we would get like cheese, salami, lentils, like basically like a fixed meal that we had to survive on. And then we had to prove ourselves and actually make like 25 fires in order to graduate.
So this is like a survival program.
It was the outdoor wilderness program that like I lived outside for 4 months.
Wow. In Utah. You were growing up in Northern California.
I got out because I actually had 3rd-degree burns.
Oh, what?
So I had hiked so much that I had lost all this weight. And then I like looked in the mirror and I was like completely different. I had like dreads in my hair. And then I basically like cut my hair and then they sent me to like a whole new school. So the next school I was at was a boarding school, an all girls boarding school.
So you're not splitting time. You're just away from your family the whole time at this point.
Yeah.
What was the thing that you just staying out late? That was the thing that caused your parents to send you this?
I was caught like a couple of times. I had friends down the street that we were all like these super cool like skateboarders. And I would hang out at the skate park and I thought it was like the coolest thing at the time. So I was just like immersed in like having like all these friends that skated and we would hang out and like, so my parents got really like worried about me because I was like, you know, just wanted to hang out with Ryan Sheckler like every day. And they were like, you know, I was just very like, I don't know, I guess expressive from the time I was like young. And I'm just kind of like crazy, like a free spirit. So like, I think they recognized that and it kind of scared them a little bit. They were like, okay, well, we need to be able to like teach her to like be stronger. And it did. I mean, it took away some things and then it also added some things, if you know what I mean.
Do you think it affected you like later on growing up?
For sure.
Yeah.
I mean, it definitely tilted the path that I went down.
Them trying to force control on you, maybe you wanted to have less people control you?
Yeah, because I'm just like, I just want to be a rock star.
Yeah.
Like, and I don't let like outside forces like try to like influence my life because like I only get to live once. Like we're only here once. So like, why would I guess, you know, not give myself a full chance to live like the life that I want. Like,
yeah.
I mean, if I wanted like to like go live in another country or something.
You
have
the options to do anything.
Yeah, because like I would like to actually experience different things. I don't know. I'm a girl from California.
I think you and
so
Tucci could run for mayor here and you'd win. For sure.
Yeah.
100%. So you're doing that. So at some point, was there drugs or alcohol involved? It was just the fact you staying out. So because I have a friend of mine, they sent him to this boarding school.
I was like 13. So
yeah.
Like I was still a virgin and I had never done drugs.
I had a buddy of mine. He did an interview here. He started his own show, and the thing that changed his life is he smoked weed, and his parents sent him to this horrible boarding school for it. And he looks back on it now, and he's like, it was just weed. Like it was crazy, and it changed his whole view of the world because like them trying, like when he looks back on it, he doesn't look back on it with gratitude. He looks back on it like you were just trying to control me.
What's his name?
His name's TC Fleming.
And which one did he go to? The one in Mexico?
No, it's in Texas. It's called Excel in Texas.
Was it all boys?
Yeah, and it's gone now. It's been shut down. In fact, somebody's going to do a documentary about it.
Very similar situation to mine. The one that I went to in Julian, actually, they shut that down as well. So it was like somebody had come back and actually started a fire there.
Yeah.
Because there was a very tragic accident with a girl that she had given birth but didn't tell anybody.
Wow.
So it was the very traumatic thing that happened there.
So no one knew she was pregnant.
So no one knew that she was pregnant, and she was an employee of the actual place.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I almost feel bad speaking on it. So, because it was just like a very, I guess, traumatic situation.
Yeah.
And so then like I guess someone burned it to the ground after that. And so then they were doing a fundraiser, like to actually build it back, but then it just never was built back.
Yeah, whenever I see those type of schools, they always seem to be met with such derision by the people who left. Right? When I was in the U.S. military, when I think about those times, I love those guys.
Yeah,
I loved everything that they did to me when I was in the military to like beat my ass. Even in survival school, I would shake those guys' hand. Like, I mean, they used to beat us when we were in survival school, but it was for a reason. And it feels like when I read about some of these boarding schools, it was just like some people who got their rocks off from watching children suffer, and then they decided to make a school about it.
Right.
That's just what it feels like to me. I'm not saying, I'm sure every boarding school isn't like that, but it seems to be like that seems to be very common.
It was
and they seem to be very unregulated as well.
Dependent on the situation I was in. So at the time, like I think what was so traumatic is that I went from one to the other one. So like I did the one in Utah, and then I think what happened was that I just going straight from there to the one that was in Julian, like outside of San Diego, was the most traumatic. Like just too much, like back to back like that. But then, okay, so when I got out, I was a sophomore. He was a senior.
Did you go back? Your family was where? Northern California?
In Northern California.
Did you go back to the high school that was near your family when you're at that point?
Yeah, and then at that point, I just wanted to move to Hawaii. So I just moved, and like, because I
your family
was
there?
like, and no, because that was my first love.
Did you emancipate? I'm confused. How did you? Oh, you meet so you're a sophomore. You meet your first love, who's an 18-year-old senior, and you move with him to Hawaii?
No, so 2 years later we did.
Okay.
And then we lived there for like 2 years.
Okay.
And then it didn't work out.
Nicolette, how does Nicolette Shea fall in love with someone? What is the characteristics of this guy?
I met him because he had a VW bug.
Okay.
And he was like parked, like I was walking into my friend's house after school, and he was like parked, and I just like, I don't know what it was, but like we just started talking like in the middle of the street. Like it was just like bound to happen or something.
But you were a cheerleader. He wasn't an athlete or anything like that?
No, he was from like Orangevale.
Okay.
So it's like, kind of like in Placer. Well, I guess it's Sacramento County. Mm-hmm. But yeah.
Oh, you're from CJ Sparks from around there too.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah, she's from Redding, I think. Yeah, it's funny. There's somebody.
A lot of us.
Yeah, Jacqueline Kenya's from there too. Yeah, a lot of like really pretty girls who like grow up there and then leave, like Northern California because it's like too cold or whatever. Yeah, or San Francisco is like the worst. There's no pretty girls there. They all get up and leave. So do you live in Sacramento proper? Were you in Sacramento in a school district or just outside of there?
Placer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Are you a Kings fan?
Yeah, I was at the time.
Yeah.
It was just like Bibby. I just remember
Mike Bibby.
Just people going crazy
Chris Webber.
about Bibby, and then like the cowbell.
Yeah.
Was like insane.
Yeah. So for those of you who don't remember, it was Phil Jackson. He said that Sacramento was a cow town. That's what he called it. And when the Lakers were playing against the Kings in the finals in this would have been it's been 2001, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
And then as a response, everyone in Sacramento started bringing cowbells to the games and started banging cowbells.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, most NBA stadiums arenas would not allow that.
They outlawed
it. But the owner of the Kings, they're good now, by the way. The owner of the Kings allowed it. I thought it was pretty funny to get back from that. But all right, so you're in that Northern California area, fall in love with the guy. You moved to Hawaii with him. What is he doing for a living? Like how are you guys paying for your life?
So I was a waitress at 2 different restaurants, and then I modeled on the side, and I used to go to the beach every single day. I would go to the beach every day.
Yeah.
And then just like I lived up country, so like I had a very simple life. We lived on a golf course. I used to live with a lady that like she would wake up every morning and like get on quads, and like she like never shaved her armpits, and
Oh,
she was
man.
from Alaska. And like she lived in the main house, and then she like rented us an Ohana. But like I just remember waking up and I would see her like naked on the quad, like driving down the golf course like all the time when I lived there. And like we used to get these huge like mud puddles after it would rain, and like I would literally like dive in. There's like so many pictures of me just like body surfing in the golf course.
You're 19, 20 at this point. So around that age?
Yeah.
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 That's crazy. Okay. And then things don't work out.
No.
What happened?
It was just more so like, I think we had like different interests at the time, and it was like, it just, you know, was maybe something that just like fizzled out, and it was time for me to go. And I definitely,
You're a very different person from 18 to 21. You become a very, like most humans, like me, from 18 years old to 21, I'm a different person. So I could see you having like different interests.
Yeah. It was more so just like, you know, when you're young and like you're partying and stuff like that, and like you're
no, I'm
still
45.
like,
I'm 45 and I'm still partying.
you're still like figuring out like who you are at that
Sure.
point. Yeah. So like there was still like a lot that I wanted to do, and I just realized that like I was on an island as well, and like I needed to like get off the island in order for me to like succeed, because it was like I was basically pulling the weight of like two people.
So you were paying for both of you?
Well, not exactly. I mean, I feel like here and there, like it was like kind of a joint situation, but I was also very, very young. And I just remember working like, you know, 60, 65 hours a week. And one place was like a golf course. And then the other place was like a fish type, like ceviche type place.
Does he ever hit you up now? Does he ever try to contact you since then?
I've seen him once.
Yeah.
But he dates within the military now.
Oh, okay.
So he like, you know, I guess he like liked a girl that was actually in the military. So that's good.
Yeah.
You know?
Beautiful.
Yeah.
So now you started modeling. You're like 18, 19, 20 years old around that time. Did that have anything to do with it? Did that open your eyes up to maybe a bigger world offside?
I immediately started dancing.
Okay, so you're dancing in Hawaii.
No.
You dance in Northern California?
No, I never danced because I was in a relationship. So
Okay.
then when I decided to leave the relationship, I started dancing when I went back to California.
So this is NorCal you're dancing? In the Sacramento area?
I started at Centerfolds back when like all these little clubs like City Girls was open.
Yeah.
And then I just was like, I just decided to move to Reno after that. You're really taking me back.
Yeah.
I'm really going back with you. This is so funny. I can't.
Yeah, no, but because no one's asked you this, Nicolette. I've been watching your interviews.
That's so funny. No, yeah, I have very, very little like humble beginnings, but I at a time when I was just basically just dancing, and I just did that for so long, and I feel like that's what kept me like going for so long, because it was like, okay, I got like exposed to people like in the club. I would meet all sorts of different people. I would, you know, get to go do stuff. And it was like, okay, then I like finally got down to Vegas, and like I got to go to like all these events, and then that's when I met you. So like, yeah, like all these little moments, all these little things like add up to like one big thing. You know what I mean?
So you're dancing, and you're modeling, and you're into fitness. You said like before you were like bodybuilding.
Yeah.
Something leads. So a lot of girls want to be in Playboy. You were in Playboy. What are the things that led to that case? I mean, so it wasn't the dancing, right? Was it you? Were you networking with the right people? What was going on at that point?
Yeah. Eventually, I just moved down here, and then
from Reno down here. So you were dancing in Reno, and then you started dancing in Vegas. Where were you dancing in Vegas?
In Vegas, I danced everywhere. I danced at Rhino, Sapphire, but also in Reno, I danced there for like 2.5, 3 years. And I worked for a general manager at the time that basically told me like, you know, you're never going to amount to anything. Why would you want to leave this club? And like, so then I just was like, I made it a point like to where like I had like, because he told me this was the reason why I had to make it a point to like leave.
I'm with you.
I probably would have stayed had he not said it, you know? So it's like it was a very pivotal moment for me because I'm like, okay, well now I know that like I need to do this. Like this is something that I need to do. So yeah, definitely moving was a good idea because, you know, Reno's fun, but
For sure.
it's very small.
Can you talk about the connections? Did you contact Playboy? Did they contact you? Like what are the things? Did you do a shoot that led to somebody at Playboy seeing you to cause you to go do that? Or did you do Cybergirl first? Like what were the steps there?
When I moved down, I got really, really into poker.
Okay.
So I love playing poker. And I play like 2-5, 5-10, no limit. I play cash games.
Did you ever do anything with Victory Poker with Dan Fleyshman?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I love Dan. Dan's awesome.
Yeah, it was his birthday last week.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you know, I was hanging out with all these poker people. So anyway, Black Friday happened or whatever, and
so
that was like super.
For those of you who don't know, it's April 15th, 2014. I don't know if you could look that up, but it's the day that online poker became illegal or like heavily regulated. Yeah. And so Victory Poker
like
had to shut down.
Full Tilt and Poker Stars.
Yeah, they all had to shut down because of that.
Yeah.
And so that changed everything. Blazerian talks about that. Dan Fleyshman talks about that. So yeah, it happened for you as well.
A lot of people had money that was like tied up in it at the time. But I didn't, but I was definitely playing online. Maybe a couple thousand, if that. Like,
April 15, 2011. Much. Poker players throughout the United States woke up to this image in front of their favorite online poker site. The site could not process withdrawals because the DOJ had seized their bank accounts. Yes. That's crazy. Yeah. Pretty crazy. Yeah. Fleyshman said he just dissolved the whole company. He didn't try to fight it or anything.
Yeah.
It was pretty
well.
Did
he end up recuperating?
Yeah, I think he did. He did. Yeah. But I mean, it was a huge part. I mean, that's where he got, that's what started. It probably
took a long time. And it was like a big investigation.
Yeah. All right, so you're doing that. You're living here. What part of town are you living in back then? Are you living in the high rise? You living in Pineda with all the other poker players?
No. I mainly lived I lived on the Strip for a little while. I liked living down there.
Like Veer? Where'd you live?
No. I don't want to say here.
Oh, you don't live there anymore?
Yeah, I don't live there anymore.
Okay.
I don't want to. I don't need to talk about my address
or
anything. Yeah. But thank you.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've lived in Vegas a while. And then I was friends with a lot of guys who played poker, guys and girls. I played a lot of girls heads up, cash, no limit too. And then I just got more and more into modeling and stuff. Cause I mean, you know, people would, it was mostly because people would say to me, when I was playing poker with them, they're like, are you a famous model or something? I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm just a girl. And then I just kind of put one foot in front of the other towards that direction and started, working more with Playboy and putting myself out there a little bit more.
Did you have a favorite?
And a little bit more and a little bit more and then a lot more.
Did you have a favorite photographer? Did you shoot David Meese or anybody like that?
I've shot with a lot.
Yeah.
I've shot with a lot. I've definitely developed a huge love for just photography and makeup and lighting and wardrobe, and I love it all. I love being on set more than anything. I think everybody does.
So do you think
even coming here is super exciting because I'm this is a set. I like this set. Yeah.
Lana's excited too.
Right?
Yes. So
exciting.
So you dancing before you posed nude, do you think that helped, or were you excited? So when I talked to Jesse Press and talked to Nara Ford about this, and then when Nara said she did her first adult scene, she was no what's it called, anxiety whatsoever. She was excited to do it. Jesse, when she posed for Playboy, she said at first she was nervous about it, and then after a few minutes that she wouldn't even put her clothes back on. She was so excited. What was the first experience like for you?
Oof. I'm kind of a freak, so I kind of like being naked.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that was never a transition. You were ready to go.
I think that everyone should have the right to express themselves, stand up for their freedom. We're born naked. Most of the time we die naked. You're born alone, you die alone. These clothes are new. We weren't supposed to have clothes. before. So what is this?
Yeah.
This is a made up, manufactured material that you're saying that I have to wear on my body. That's debatable because we're human, you know? So, like, humans were born a certain way.
Yeah.
And to say that we have that, you know, that this is a law, well, that's a man-made law, but that's definitely not God's law.
Yeah.
If you really want me to be honest.
Right.
So, yeah. What about you?
What do you mean?
What do you like?
What do I like?
Yeah.
I like the fact
Do you
that
believe in God?
Of course.
You
yeah.
do?
No, I do. Yes, I do. But I believe in God based on faith, not on evidence. Meaning, like, I don't have a literal interpretation of the Old Testament, the New Testament a little bit more.
Yeah.
But the reason why I believe in God, there's a couple of reasons, but one of the main ones is that there are several people who saw the crucifixion of Jesus Christ. There were witness to it. And then after he rose again, there were hundreds of people who saw him.
Yeah.
So again, that to me was enough in the fact that, you know, it spread to over 1.2 billion people on this planet.
Yeah.
Who are professed followers of Christ. To me, that's why. But I don't. But at the same time, it doesn't outweigh my belief in physics.
Yeah.
I believe in physics based on evidence. I believe in God based on faith. Does that make sense? Yeah. So very similar to Albert Einstein's belief about God.
Okay.
Basically, the idea is like, evolution is real because God created evolution, not the idea that God could, like, to limit God to say, well, evolution isn't real because I believe in a creator, is to limit the creator. The creator could have created evolution. The creator could have created mitosis and DNA and RNA. The creator could have done these things.
Right.
It's like, well, I don't believe in a big bang. Well, why not? The God could have created the four fundamental forces of the universe: gravity, strong nuclear force, weak nuclear force, electromagnetism. Why couldn't God have put those things in motion? And that's what it's called. The theory is called the God of physics, which is what Albert Einstein believes in, and that's what I believe in.
You know, we're all sinners.
Of course, yeah. But like everyone knows that. Like everyone, we all come off as that. Yes, correct.
Yeah.
The interpretation of the Christian Bible, yes, we're all sinners.
What do you think happens after we die?
Again, based on faith, I believe in, you know, what's described as far as Abraham's bosom and then going into the kingdom of heaven. That's what I believe.
So get into that a little bit more.
It is one of these things where I don't get to know, right?
Okay.
Like okay. Constantly, I talk to people who tell me the world is going to hell because so-and-so is president, because such and such political thing is being pushed on us, and therefore we're in the end times. This is the book of Revelations, and Jesus is coming back. And in the same book of Revelations, it states that no one will know when I come back, right? If you go back to the 1850s, 1860s, 1870s, there's always some preacher who says, we're living in end times, fire and brimstone. This is the end. We're all sinners. Repent. The end times are not, they're upon us. And all of them died, and all of them were wrong because they weren't the end times. Because in the end times, what happens is all Christians are supposed to vanish and just go up in heaven, and then just what's left is be the non-believers. That's what it states in the book of Revelations. Don't take my word on this. Read the book.
Do you think that we have a long time here?
No, I think I am not arrogant enough to believe I could ever guess when the book of Revelations would happen, or not arrogant enough to believe that I know of a deliberate interpretation of the book of Revelations.
What do you think about our agricultural farming? How much we're like burning? Have you seen how much we're burning of our land, like so that we can make this meat and poultry?
Oh, you're talking, okay, got it. Yeah, so with agriculture. Well,
that's really scary stuff.
Well, one of the things that makes the United States unique is the concept that we had the most fertile farmland on earth.
Right.
So okay, an example would be like the black soils of North Texas and Arkansas is the best place on earth to grow cotton, which is a reason why, like, it goes back into slavery as well. It's the reason why that was such a cash crop for the southern United States.
Do you like the taste of meat?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do you?
But most people do. But I'm evolutionarily wired to like the taste of meat.
To like the taste.
Yeah, because my ancestors liked the taste of meat because it was a way for them to get protein and not die.
Do you think that eating the animals is correct?
Well, if I were to look at it from a survival standpoint, I know my ancestors did it. And if I look at it from a biblical standpoint, I know my ancestors did it.
Yeah. So
from a moral standpoint, should I go out of my way to make the animal suffer before I kill it? Absolutely not. That's terrible.
Are you part Native American?
No, so my mother's Colombian, so my ancestors would be Aztec.
Okay.
I mean, they'd be Mayan. I'm sorry, they'd be Mayan. Or Incan, yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah, so yeah, well, going back to
So
that.
have you ever done like the actual like tribal dance? Like,
No, I've never done a tribal dance, but I've danced after I scored a touchdown. It was something similar to that. You know,
How was that?
That was pretty fun.
Rate your life on like 0 to 100.
That's 100. It's definitely 100. I do exactly what I want to do for a living.
Yeah.
Nicolette, you know how many people like made fun of me when I started this fucking show?
It's fucking cool.
And you know how many people like did this? Do you remember like when we first met? I was nobody. I was a guy standing behind a fucking camera at the Playboy
you've always
Mansion.
been cool.
Yeah, but you knew me. But like what I'm saying is, when I think about all the people who wouldn't piss on me when I was on fire, like if I was on fire back in the day, and like now they're nice to me,
Yeah.
and I don't hold anything against them, but I got to do exactly what I want to do for a living.
Yeah.
I talk about evolutionary psychology on a podcast about all these subjects that I want to do. My company's doing $500,000 a month, talking
Right.
about exactly what I want to do, helping other people, and it's totally fucking scalable. Yeah, I'm living a dream life, and my girlfriend's amazing. She's amazing, and she's pulling in the same direction as me. So on a scale of 1 to 100, it's 100. Now my right knee hurts sometimes from ACL reconstruction. And I'm fucking old as shit. You know what I'm saying? You know, sometimes I forget that I'm 45 years old. I like try to jump out of airplanes or try to have a threesome with two 20-year-olds. That shit doesn't work. 21-year-olds. My girlfriend is 21 years old. Sorry.
Do you live at Pano?
Yeah, I live in Pineda.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. By the way, I don't care if you know where I live. I got 16 in,
before,
I got 16 in the clip and 1 in the chamber if you want to come visit. Yeah.
Nice.
So the you know, just going back to the same before, like I'm very interested because I didn't know a lot of the stuff about you. I didn't know you're part Yugoslavian or your relationship. When you start dancing again, do you have a relationship with your parents at this point? Are they upset about it? Are they happy about it? Just to let you know, I was managing a strip club after college. My parents didn't know anything about it.
Really?
Yeah, they knew nothing. Because I was in Austin and they were in
So
Dallas.
you kept it from them.
Well, you also remember this is 2000 to 2004. There's no social media.
Yeah.
And my parents rarely come visit. And I do kind of wish that before my dad died, I had brought him in one time just to see what I did.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't ashamed of it. I mean, it was a good gig. Having a cash job in 2000 to 2004 when there's no social media, there were, just for those of you who don't know, the prettier girls worked in strip clubs before social media. Social media, and especially OnlyFans.
That's true.
OnlyFans made it so that so I want you to consider, we'll just use Nara as an example.
We used to have to.
Well, you had to, yeah.
Like go to the club. We used to have to, not have to, but definitely at the time, I mean, it was the best place to be.
The only way to get validation or money was to go in real life to a thing.
You became known almost like.
Correct.
Because I, for example, were doing tours like up and down California. I did a whole entire strip club tour.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I'll.
I used to hire the feature dancers for the strip club that I worked at.
Yeah. I have talks with someone about doing another tour right now who owns a majority of all the clubs, but we'll see like what happens. You know?
Yeah.
If not, I'll just keep like flipping houses.
Yeah, so I was going to get into that, but just for people who don't know, what happened was so before 2004, there's no bottle service, there's no text messaging, there's no HD TV. The world is a very different place, and so the prettiest girls were working. I know some people won't believe this, but Hooters all over the country used to have gorgeous women back in the 1990s.
That's true.
And now you just don't you see very young girls, but you don't see like the hottest girls there. Like the hottest girls work there.
Yeah.
Strip clubs, the Rhino. I'm telling you, the Rhino
Hooters, needs to start doing appearances with girls.
Right? Yeah.
If they want to be like cool, they should just hit me up or hit up like.
There we go. Hooters.
Get
Nicolette Shea to a Hooters. I want a Hooters near your Twin Peaks.
Right.
The other part was
maybe.
Yeah.
I'm open.
The other part was the concept of like strip clubs. The Rhino back in 2011, like I'm not saying there aren't a ton of pretty girls at the Rhino now. There are. What I'm saying is the ugliest girl at the Rhino in 2011 was still incredibly hot because it was so hard to work there because you made so much money and there was no OnlyFans, there was no Instagram, there was no Facebook. We were just girls on MySpace back then.
I used to wear the tallest shoes.
Did you?
So
you'd be like 6'4"?
Like 7, I think 7.
7 inches?
Yeah, 7.5. Something like that.
So,
but there were girls that were wearing like 8, 9 inch. Like some of the best dancers wore 8.5-inch heels.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. So you're going through that part. Your parents never knew about it or anything?
Yeah, of course they did.
What did they think?
They support me no matter what.
That's good.
Yeah, they love me no matter what.
So they still back in NoCal?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm just thankful. I'm thankful for every day to get the opportunity to do what I do. And, we all make our own decisions and make our own choices in this life. And we can only hope that we, make those that love us proud. And I think what I've brought to the world, I, have brought a very small and kind of minuscule little, section of maybe just beautiful and sexy poses and videos and photos and stuff like that. But I think what I would like to offer would be something else. And which would be just to kind of help if there's a way to improve like our ocean, our waters.
Okay.
Because I don't believe that we have as long as we claim. So that would be my only concern, that I don't think that we have as long. So if I truly believe this, then it would be like an obligation of mine to, and I hope others, to start doing more things proactive about that, and trying to make some changes, because obviously some changes are needed. So yeah.
Got it. So getting to environmental causes.
Yeah, because and also just to help people.
Yeah.
So I've lived a life of just being in front of the camera, but I like to ask people and kind of get to the bottom of things too. So if I can, I'd like to go talk to some more people who I think would be interesting.
I think you should have a show. You should probably do it here, and you should probably do live streams.
I will do that.
Okay. I will co-host any of your live streams, Nicolette. Okay. For sure.
Okay.
Beautiful. The other thing is, I think it's really interesting. I wasn't going to talk about this before. By the way, I haven't gone to any of my notes. I just because you and I've been friends for so long. You probably don't know this, but since I became friends with you, CJ, Chloe, Lindsay Palos, whoever, I'm trying to explain this the best way I can. Women have always just come up and started talking to me.
Oh.
That's
interesting.
You and Lindsay more than anyone. If you and I take a Snapchat together and I post it, I have so many women watching my story and hitting me up, and sometimes even asking me out. Because the concept of preselection or mate choice copying, obviously we've never dated, but they still see us together.
Right.
And it's really crazy because you were one of the first ones, because you are the tallest with the biggest boobs and the bluest eyes and the blondest hair.
Aww.
And so I don't know if you remember Jacqueline Kenyon's birthday a couple of years ago. We were at Omnia, and you did this video. And remember, I wrote fuckmichaelsartain.com on the video. I don't know if you remember this. And I posted, it was a Snapchat I posted. And afterwards, it was outrageous how many girls were hitting me up afterwards because I was out with Nicolette. And one girl was like, she was saying some pretty vile shit. She's like, I'll do anything to meet this woman.
Oh, that's sweet.
But it was one of these things where it's like,
what's her snap?
I'll give it to you. It was one of these things where just being friends with you guys, I met so many women. It was crazy.
Yeah.
It was just I knew I was going to go out to Babes in Toyland or one of these other events, and I was going to hang out with you guys, and I was going to sit at the fucking cool girls table, and 15 girls were going to ask me for my number.
Yeah, pretty much.
And Kindly is like that too. Kindly's probably the best wingman ever. Yeah. Now, I'm in a relationship now, so I don't need a wingman. My wingman is my girlfriend, but back then it was pretty amazing.
Fun. We definitely had a lot of good times.
Yeah, but just imagine, I just want guys to consider this. I'm out with, me and Elaine would go out somewhere, to Omni or whatever, and I'm just with her, and then I go up and talk to some girl who's I think is really pretty, and it's like, oh, this is my friend Nicolette. Just the way the woman would look at me was so different. Because normally girls would see a strange guy come up and they'd be like, who is this guy? What's going on here? Guard is up.
Yeah.
What's he want? I'm sure he just wants to fuck. That's all that's going on. But I'd walk up with you and they'd be like, are they seeing each other? What's going on? She's really nice to him. He must not be a psychopath. Aww. He probably doesn't smell. And so just having you or one of those other girls with me.
You also are a very social person.
Yes.
And you have a knack for talking to people.
Yeah, for sure. But initially still though, with women, especially really attractive women, there's this thing you have to get over.
Yeah.
Unless you are getting out of a Lamborghini or you have the dance floor table for $50K, in which case you don't have to get over shit. You're on stage with Drake. You don't have to get over anything. But for most guys, when they walk up to a female stranger, there's this, especially if she's really attractive, there's this little hump they have to get over.
Okay.
You're super social, so I don't think it happens with you. But like for some, like my girlfriend tells me all the time, it's like when strange guys would come up and talk to me, I would tell them to get the fuck away from me, get away from, don't talk to me, or whatever. And I was just thinking like, how many doors having like these tall, gorgeous playmates as my friends for the last decade has opened for me. It's crazy.
Aww.
It really is crazy. Like that's why I keep talking about
love back to the girls.
For sure, and being friends with women like that, it was just really, and it was a connecting thing because I met a bunch of girls just hanging out with you.
It's true.
Yeah. So now going back to this whole situation, you're dancing, you shoot for Playboy. You said you're not nervous. Did you ever go to the mansion?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I stayed there for a couple weeks.
So can you go over this? How do you get invited to stay at the mansion? How does that whole process work?
You know, at the time, I actually was like 25 and I went and we used to just order food, honestly, because we would, you know, go to sleep early.
Yeah.
But like the kitchen stayed open. The kitchen was always open 24 hours.
Is Hugh with Holly at this point or is with Crystal?
Crystal.
So with Crystal, okay.
Yeah.
So Crystal is his final wife who he ends up, his widow, his current widow.
Crystal actually was very sweet.
Well, Crystal's the reason I went to the Playboy Mansion. She would invite me to go. Yeah.
Yeah, she's very sweet. She's actually very smart. And I liked her a lot. And we had the Playmate of the Year there at the time.
Who was it?
Claire Sinclair.
Okay.
And
were you staying in the main house or the house with the Playmates?
I stayed in the Playmate.
The Playmate house.
Yeah.
Was Crystal McCahill?
I remember
was around that time?
Our room was covered in Pamela Anderson.
Yeah.
Like we had the Pam Ann room.
Yeah.
And then I had been there several other times for all the parties.
Yeah.
And I remember being body painted.
Okay, that may have been the first time we ever met, actually. Because Chloe, I remember she was getting body painted, and I was there shooting I was as a videographer in 2014. So that may have been the first time we actually met. Now I think about it, because I remember Chloe. Yeah, that probably was. Okay. It's interesting. So your weekly interaction, would you see Hugh Hefner and the other girls on a regular basis? So this is he's with Crystal. So at this point, the girls next door have moved out.
Yes.
Right. So Holly Madison and what's the other girl's name? I forgot the other two names.
Holly, Kendra.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Bridget.
So at this point, what is like a weekly thing? Like there's the Sunday night movie thing that they're doing.
Yeah, everything stayed doing, you know, on schedule.
Yeah.
And you know, movie night was always on the same night.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I would describe it as just like kind of idyllic, you know, summer camp, if you will, or I guess, you know, very posh. He was very classy, you know. He was kind of had a very like sexy kind of sex appeal, bravado about him.
Hugh
you
did.
know? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. In even like at 80 years old,
he
still like had this like air, you know, that like some men have.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that more men need to have that type of air nowadays.
We're working on it.
Yeah, because like I think that if you can show that you can offer these things to a girl, that you can actually make her forget about anything else.
Bring anxiety to zero.
Yeah, like I think it's all about that. I think, yeah, especially for guys that are looking for girls nowadays, they need to bring less anxiety and not add to the situation. Because once you're adding, then it's like, I need to minus.
Are you still dancing while you're staying at the mansion, or are you doing both things at the same time?
Oh, we're going back to my life story right now?
You're the only reason I'm here, girl.
Oh my gosh, you're so cute. Why do you want to know so much about me, Michael?
Nicolette, okay, I'm going to tell you something. My audience, right? I have a bunch of clients, and they ask me who they want me to interview, and you are one of the people they want me to interview.
Oh, I'm
I tell them
very honored.
Well, I tell them like I've known her for 10 years, and I didn't want to like I watched like the No Jumper interview and the other interviews you've done with the other people, and I didn't want to get into like the hypersexual stuff because there's a bunch of other interviews people can watch of that. For you,
that's true.
Yeah, for you, I wanted something different.
Wow, that's very nice of you, actually.
I've known you for a decade, so I wanted a different flavor.
You know, that's so sweet of you. I didn't expect this. You know, okay, what era are we in?
So
dancing era?
you're 25. You're at the Playboy Mansion. Are you still dancing at the same time? Are you going back and forth between Vegas and Dallas? Vegas and Los Angeles. Okay. Now
let me tell you, Michael. Nicolette is a hard worker, babe.
Yes.
Nicolette is a worker bee and always has been.
Yeah.
But you know, at a certain point, our priorities change, or we change, or you know. I guess more so our priorities, because at the time I'm 25, so I'm not thinking about anything but having fun. And now I'm kind of thinking, okay, like maybe a little bit more serious. And what do I want to accomplish before, you know, our time's up? So,
just my 2 cents as your friend, I think you need to do this format more often.
You think so?
Yeah, 100%. And I think you need to be the one doing the interviews. I just think you'd be good at this. I do.
Okay.
I think you have enough of a rabid fan base to where this would work. Because like here's the thing, how many Instagrams have you lost and you're back already to 350,000? Like, you know how hard it is for girls to grow on IG right now?
Yeah.
And you've lost, like, how many IGs have you lost?
I mean, a few.
Like at least 3, right?
I just think maybe there was like a war on cleavage.
Of course there was. Yeah, no,
or a war on booty.
Yeah, of course, for sure. No, but my point is you've lost these IGs and you're already back up to 300K. Like that, so you have a rabid fan base. I think if you started doing content like this,
they love me.
Yeah, for sure. But you see what CJ and it's not, obviously they're not doing porn, but you see that.
They just follow me, babe.
You know, inside
wherever I go, babe.
But you see like how inside OnlyFans and like Pillow Talk have blown up. I think you could do something like that.
I'm not so sure how long I'll be, you know, around, but I'm hoping to get swept up off my feet here pretty soon, babe.
Which is my next question. During the time you're going to the Playboy Mansion and you're...
Somebody needs to knock.
Okay. Okay, guys.
Knock.
Send your submissions in the in her DMs right now at Nick Shea _. So now going back, what is dating like during this time period? Like you're 25, you're doing fitness, you're modeling, you're at the Playboy Mansion. Is it, from your standpoint, or you're like, I'm going to date celebrities, or I don't want to date anyone because I just want to focus on my career, or I'm just looking for situationships? What is it dating like for you at this point?
Oh, dating?
Yeah.
At that point?
Yeah, at that point.
Oh, gosh. I don't think I wanted anything too serious because I wanted to be more focused on my career.
Yes.
And I didn't want... you know, many distractions at the time because I was still trying to get where I'm going.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. I definitely did not want anything serious.
Did a guy at that point that would catch your eye? What were the unique distinctions?
Which is interesting because I thought for sure I would be married by 30, but maybe that's just because I tend to kind of push everybody away.
Sure.
So yeah, I mean, I think I naturally do that.
So what's that like? So someone's dating you, you push them away. How? You just stop talking to them? You tell them to leave? Like what is that like?
No, I mean more so like I just mean like the masses of people.
Okay.
Like if there's one person that gets through to me, then like I make them very close to me.
Yeah.
But like I feel like I have to be like selective about who I'll let like come into my aura, I guess. Yeah. So it's deep, but
have you ever had so either one of these situations, you like during this time period, you start hooking up with a dude and he starts catching feelings and you have to push him away, or vice versa? Did that ever happen?
You know, I think that unless you guys actually like have like the same like things are just aligning, like you guys are in the right place at the right time or whatever, like it kind of makes things harder because like, you know, relationships and people that you like meet, like sometimes like, you know, a guy can be like you, but he's got to be in Hong Kong tomorrow. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How's that gonna work?
I take Kylie with me everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, maybe there are situations like that where you guys can like team up,
No, I've seen what you're talking about. I don't believe it. I don't believe in long distance relationships. I don't think they're real. I do not think, I know that may be pissing some people off. I don't think long distance relationships exist. I think you're having some sort of relationship, but like we still have bodily urges.
That's true.
Normal, healthy people need to fuck each other. And if they can't, then other thoughts start creeping in and you're not actually having a relationship. That's just my opinion. And I would say, you know, the fact that, you know, the bravest men who ever lived in my generation or the generation before me would be the men who stormed Normandy back in 44, fought in World War II. And when they got home, 75% of them had been divorced. Their wives filed for divorce. 75% of them. These are the bravest men ever. So if you consider that, it's like these men did everything to sacrifice for their country, and they come home and their wives are pregnant by different men. So like from that standpoint, I like that's why essentially I do not believe in the concept of long distance relationships. So yeah, if I'm going to have a relationship with someone, they need to be with me. We need to be in each other's physical presence on a regular basis. And if I'm going to travel, they need to come with me.
So were there also like a lot of, where did they get deployed to?
We're talking about the invasion of France in 1944 to fight the Nazis.
The American women stuck by their men.
A lot of them didn't.
From World War II?
Yeah, a lot of them didn't. You should look it up. I think the divorce rates I've seen were around 75%.
But that's because they were deployed.
They were deployed for like 4 years
sometimes.
sometimes.
They had children a lot of times with the women that were over there.
That's sometimes. Again, I'm not
babies
for sure.
That are Asian and white.
So you're talking about the Korean War, absolutely that happened, and the Vietnam War that absolutely did happen.
And they're beautiful babies, by the way.
So going back to that whole situation, so you weren't interested in a relationship. Was there ever a point where you had a celebrity crush that you met and ended up going out with? Did that ever happen?
When has that not happened, Michael?
Well, so I'm asking you. Can you name any, or do you not want to name any?
I don't want to name any.
But so I would imagine at this point you're at incredible peak powers, right? You're living at the Playboy Mansion. You're surrounded by a bunch of other playmates. You're constantly surrounded by other celebrities. Any celebrity you had a crush on, you could probably just go out with like that. Is that where you are?
Yeah, I guess it's all about who you click with.
Yeah.
Like, if you're feeling somebody's vibe, it doesn't matter whether they have like 2 followers or 2 million or 20 million, whatever that is.
Yeah.
I don't really believe in like followers.
Yeah.
But I do understand that the platform is there for a reason, and and that I guess we idolize like certain people and stuff like that, but like I really honestly feel like that no one person is worth more than another human being. Yeah,
but it's different when it's just somebody you want to have sex with. I think it's a little different.
I know, but I guess I just kind of think like I watch a lot of like I want to go to downtown LA.
Mm-hmm. Oh man, that's for those of you who don't know, downtown LA is not like a serviceable place on earth anymore. It's covered in it's homeless shelters. Yeah. So basically Skid Row was like this one street, and now Skid Row has expanded to this entire like I want to say 10 block area around. So I want to say northwest of where the Staples Center is. Yeah. And it's thousands and thousands of homeless people living in cardboard boxes and tents.
These are the people that need help.
Yes, and all the commercial businesses there have pretty much shut down because they can't operate unless it's like a tow truck company. There's like not really a bail bondsman maybe, and there's a bunch of rehab clinics that are there.
And are you going out there right now?
I do. Michael? I go out there sometimes. Yeah. But I actually go to North Vegas here in Vegas. Yeah. So North Vegas is a little different here. It's a little bit more organized. We have 2 streets right there at the intersection. If you go way north on Las Vegas Boulevard, up past like Chico's Bonitas, like way up there, you'll see rows of tents. But we have Catholic services and 3square.org that will go out there and feed those people on a regular basis. Yeah. The homeless people in Clark County tend to just be in that North Vegas area, not a whole lot in other places. Whereas in Los Angeles, you'll actually see them in Santa Monica. You'll see them out on the beach. You'll see them like putting up encampments near people's homes. Wow. And there's a lot of people in some of these wealthier neighborhoods that are like filing police reports, and the police are not removing these people. They're just in those areas. Children are getting drugs sold to them. It's a similar situation you're seeing in San Francisco. There's a balance.
Really
there's a balance where it's like if you could
work on that movie,
which one?
Movie that just came out.
Which one are you talking about?
The one that they were broadcasting for free. They were broadcasting it for free.
No, I'm not sure which one.
Something just came out. It was like Dan knows what it's. I didn't actually.
Oh, you're talking about the one about child trafficking?
Correct.
That's a different one. Yeah. No, I totally.
What was this called?
I can't remember. Something freedom. Sound of freedom. Oh, I got it.
Sound of freedom.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Yeah, and I'm definitely going to go check that out. But the thing with the homeless thing, it's like you have these two situations where it's like you want a solution to the problem, but if you make things so comfortable, then everyone moves to the West Coast to live there, and then your entire populace is flooded by people that are homeless that are there.
Yeah.
And it's like not helping anyone because like they're not getting the help they need. And then the people who live in those homes, their homes are being devalued. And like it just becomes this cycle of this one problem that nobody's solving, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I'm really shocked by it.
The solution is not to have people set up tents all over Santa Monica.
Right.
That is not the solution to the problem.
No.
So anyway, yeah, that's something that I noticed when it goes back to that. But it's interesting that these are the causes that you care about: homelessness and environmental protections.
Yeah.
So after that point, that's when I meet you.
Because it's because we all have like this emptiness.
Yes.
And we're all trying to fill our heart with, this feeling.
Sure.
And when you're there and you do good for other people, then it makes your heart feel full.
Yeah.
It really does. And I feel like there needs to be more people that are out there doing this type of work. So I guess I'm like the perfect person because I kind of like don't like, I'm willing to kind of devote my life to doing something good.
So the reason why Dan Fleyshman's charity is so great is because he builds backpacks for homeless people in orphanages, and domestic abuse shelters.
He's really good.
The reason why it works so well is because Dan is not making a plight out of empathy for you to come like give him stuff. He's like, here is a practical solution to a practical problem. And if we all got together and did this, and here's another thing that I love was Dan.
Are awesome.
The other thing I love about the backpack idea is he doesn't care if anyone, he doesn't patent the backpack idea. If you want to start your own backpack charity, Dan will literally help you do it. Right? It's very similar to when the electric drivetrain that Tesla made, he wanted the entire world to go electric. So he started giving out the electric drivetrain to every single company to use for free. He didn't put a patent on it. It's the same type of situation here where he's like, I have this idea to help homeless people with these backpacks. Let's just give them these backpacks with these survival supplies in it. I don't care if other people do it. It's 100% funded by Dan. Dan makes no money off of it. It's all the administrative costs are footed by Dan.
Yeah.
And it's a practical solution to it rather than what we will see other people being like, we should just care more about the homeless. Okay, what did you do about it? Nothing. Like Conrad Hilton, if you guys want to go to the Conrad, which is at the Hilton Hotel Resorts World, Conrad Hilton, who is Paris Hilton's great grandfather, he was one of the people who helped start 3square.org, which is all the food pantries here in Nevada.
Yeah.
There's a reason why we're able to get food to a lot of the homeless people in this county is because of 3Square, because of what Conrad Hilton did several years ago. Yeah, so it's awesome. Like there's talking about the problem and there's actions that you can take to actually
you're very
involved
in the nonprofit.
I try to be. Yeah, I try to be. Most of the stuff I teach my clients is use these networking situations or to raise money for charity. Saturday we're raising money for animal rescue. If you want to come over at the Ahern Hotel for Foster Friday Foundation. Yeah.
Nice.
If you're interested, you can come to that. I think Nara's going to come to that. All right, so let's do this. I'm curious. So at this point, this is when I meet you, right? 2014, 2015, 2016.
Yeah.
And I meet you, and I remember you're like hanging out with Chloe and that whole clique, and you were coming to a bunch of events that I was coming to. And then I'm in Panama with some friends of mine. I'd never seen the Panama Canal before. I wanted to check it out. I'm hanging out there with some buddies, and I get a message from Joel Alvarez from Black Tape Project, and Joel goes, "Is this for real? Is Nicolette doing porn?" And he sends me a link to your first scene that you do for Brazzers. And I didn't know. This is April 2017, somewhere around there. So I'm curious, what is the transition like for you? What is going on in that time period where you decide that you wanted to do adult work? And remember, this is 2017, so there is no OnlyFans. Was this something you had been thinking about doing for a while?
No, I saw like that I could be like one of the first.
Yeah.
So like do it. So I was like, well, maybe not the first, but just like do something that like I always wanted to do.
Yeah. What you mean by this is most contract girls were not published playmates before there are exceptions, but most of them were not published playmates before they started doing adult content.
Yeah, it was almost like something that was like looked down upon.
Yes.
Like, oh, like if you did do Playboy, like you weren't supposed to do this. But actually, in reality, it's all owned by the same conglomerate.
So about MindGeek in Montreal.
Company. Yeah, so Playboy Plus is owned by the same company as Brazzers
and Reality King.
as
Yes.
Digital Playground, Reality Kings. Yeah.
Yeah. So Playboy, which is headquartered in Chicago, it's actually not in Los Angeles. They spun off their digital part of their digital organization to a company called MindGeek in Montreal, and they're the ones who ran all these different porn sites. So if you go to AVN, you'll see they'll have their own section at AVN with all the MindGeek owned properties that'll be in that one area.
Yeah.
And so that's correct, and that's when I met Sam Rima, and he was working for Playboy Plus back then. And so that's where all that happened. A lot of girls, cyber girls. So Chloe became a cyber girl.
Yeah, Kimberly just popped up into my head.
Kimberly Fattorini, who passed away back in 2017, and then the whole situation with what's her face? Talia Paris was she's the youngest cyber girl ever. She was 19 when she became cyber girl, and that whole thing was happening during that time period. So now,
how old is Talia right now?
Talia Paris, man, she was.
And she's been on the show.
Yeah, Talia was one of my first 20 guests. Oh gosh, man, I'm guessing she's 23, 24, 25, somewhere in there.
And how is she doing? She lives in LA?
No, she lives here. She
lives here.
She has a very peaceful life. From what I understand, she makes content and she walks her dogs.
Yeah.
Kind of seems like that. She was dating a buddy of mine. Actually, I became friends with the guy through her. The guy who owns Fit Club LV. They're not together anymore, but that's kind of like where she was in that whole situation.
Okay.
So now, give me the steps. So is there a person you talk to? Because I was watching your Holly Randall interview, and it's clear to me that you knew who porn stars were. Like, you're a connoisseur of it.
Holly, I did Holly's podcast like after I was already.
No. But when I'm watching the podcast, it's clear you knew who all these people were. Did you know who they were beforehand?
You know what? I was a fan of the big time.
Yeah.
So like Lisa Ann.
Okay. And I saw your interview with her.
Yeah, and
she did a show in here, by the way. Lisa Ann films a show in here sometimes.
Yeah, I love Lisa. Also Jenna Jameson.
Yes, who's from Las Vegas.
A profound impact on me, and also like Marilyn Monroe.
Yeah.
But
by the way, Marilyn Monroe
actually was our first real porn star because she posed naked.
Yeah.
And did so many things at the time that were just so revolutionary and groundbreaking and things that people were not doing. And she was just a true artist of artists.
So I was going to ask you I've never asked you specifically about Marilyn Monroe. It was one of the subjects we were going to come out with here.
Amazing
She grew up not far from where you grew up. Actually pretty similar.
Yeah, her real name was Norma Jean.
Yes.
And she came from very, very humble beginnings. All the way up until the point where, she was like a preteen with red hair. We both have red hair. So
she's married to a member of the U.S. Army who gets deployed, who goes TDY or gets deployed to Korea.
She wasn't married for very long.
Right, and then during that period of marriage, she ends up doing a photo shoot and becomes almost instantly famous.
Correct.
Right afterwards.
And she was still fairly young.
Yes.
Very young at the time. What, like 16, 17?
No. She's 18 or 19 at this point. But she's married. Maybe 17. But she's like
red?
19. Yeah.
Still red.
Yes. And she takes this photo shoot. She becomes like instantly.
More so because I remember I think it was at the beach and her hair looked like it was almost like a strawberry blonde.
Yes.
At the time.
Then the other thing that happens is December 1953. She's in Playboy.
Correct.
And Hugh Hefner bought the photos from someone else.
To use in the magazine.
Marilyn Monroe did not want them used, but they did make her incredibly famous, because of those photos, which is something when you think about it later on when it goes to Paris Hilton and Kim Kardashian sex tapes with Pamela Anderson. It's a similar type of situation, but what happened there was legal because Hugh Hefner used to be the editor-in-chief at Vogue and then started Playboy in the 1950s. And then I don't remember if it was the first issue or one of the first issues was Marilyn Monroe's pictorial when she was much younger.
Wow.
Yeah, doing that. Because she, and then there's a bunch of other things like when she's, I don't know if she's married to Joe DiMaggio while she's dating Frank Sinatra. Do you know this? You ever heard this story?
They had a very interesting love affair.
Well, Frank and her did. Joe DiMaggio wasn't interesting. He was abusive. That dude was a piece of shit. And there was also I've met so many women who love Marilyn Monroe. I had to read her biographies. And I was just like fascinated by a bunch of stuff that she did. And you watch her on camera, again, this is the transition from going to a model to becoming an actress. A lot of times you see it the other way around. Like Margot Robbie.
That's true.
Margot Robbie could get any modeling job she wants, right? But she's also a fantastic actress. Whereas most models want to be Margot Robbie. They want to be an actress. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just like athletes and rappers, trying to do each other's job.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was kind of an interesting situation, but it was like, it's really funny because I go back and watch I've seen clips from some of Marilyn Monroe's movies.
Yeah.
Oh, this is another story. I don't know if you know this.
Also, the girl who did it on Netflix did an amazing job.
Yeah, that was I remember the one you're talking about. It's really good.
Amazing.
Who is the Prince of Monaco offers his hand in marriage to Marilyn Monroe. Have you ever heard this story?
Is this sounds like a movie script?
No, it absolutely happened. There's letters to prove how it happened. He offers to marry Marilyn Monroe.
Correct.
She doesn't respond, and he ends up marrying Grace Kelly.
Oh.
And so the current Prince of Monaco is the child of Princess Grace.
Wow.
Yes, Grace Kelly in the former Prince of Monaco. And when Grace took that and went off to Monaco to live,
right,
she got a letter from Marilyn Monroe being like, congratulations on this whole thing, because Grace Kelly was her #1 competitor when it came for movie roles.
Right.
And now this girl had taken herself out of the market and actually had become a real life princess.
Right.
It's just another interesting story.
Yeah, it's interesting the choices we make because it can either make or break our careers.
And the other one I always like to point out is the idea that Marilyn Monroe slept with the president is not conjecture. It did happen. There are Secret Service records that show that she spent the night at the residence, and Jacqueline Onassis Kennedy was fully aware of the fact that JFK was sleeping with Marilyn Monroe. That's not like we talk about like theories or whatever. Like you can look up the actual record on this. There's very little evidence to not support that. Then he breaks up with her because Jackie O had asked her to.
Marilyn was more like a sexy, sultry type, and then Jackie O was more Chanel and very refined and classy.
Can I be honest with you? I think Jackie O was bisexual. I think she was fully aware.
Well,
and
what a beautiful style.
Of course,
she had.
Totally. I think something we don't ever consider, because she was so comfortable with him being with other women. I think Jackie O was bisexual. I think hardly anybody discusses this concept. I think they were probably with women together. I think that's what was going on, and it was so unacceptable for the president of the United States to be doing that, who was a Catholic living in the White House, to do something like that. I do think that's what was probably going on. So what I'm saying is the American public, think about this, Lana, we go back to this, the American public in 1959, are they going to be more accepting of the idea that you had a highly powerful, handsome man who occasionally cheated on his wife, or that they were having threesomes? What do you think America was willing to accept in the 1950s? What do you think? I mean, to me, obviously the first one. That's why I suspect Jackie O was probably bisexual and fully involved in all the stuff that was going on. It's just my 2 cents.
I sense a parody coming.
And it's a parody?
A parody.
What do you mean, like a parody? Is it a joke or
a
parody?
A parody is like where you kind of do a spin-off of like a real thing.
Yeah.
So in porn, we have porn parodies.
For sure, yeah.
Yeah.
So
I sense a parody coming.
You're gonna do it? You're gonna write one? If you want ideas, I can give you ideas. I can't do them.
You just gave me a White House idea.
I think that's a great idea. So you decide to do your first scene. Karen is a buddy of mine, Karen Lee. The weirdest thing, I get a message after I interview, I can't remember who it was. Was it Nara or someone? I get a message from Karen Lee's IG, and I'm like, this is obviously a joke. This is obviously his assistant. He wants to come on my podcast or something like that.
Yeah.
Then I go to the AVN Awards, and I'm standing there doing interviews, and Karen Lee walks up and he goes, Michael Sartain. I was like, I looked at him, I go, get the fuck out of here. It was like really him. He actually shout out to Karen. He watches the show. And Kieran. Yeah, Lee. I say his name wrong. Yeah, Kieran. And so you decide to do your first scene, your first contract girl scene. What was that whole situation like? Who reached out to who? And then how did that whole thing go down?
I had worked with Playboy Plus, and so we came up with I had reached out and we came up with an agreement, and then I went and filmed my scenes.
Do you do your own contract work, or do you have an attorney or an agent or anybody who does this?
I have help.
Yeah. Were you nervous at all? Did you decide you wanted to do it with Karen? Like, how did that whole situation go?
As far as
who chooses what, where, the date, or do you just say, I want to do this and you guys choose?
Everything is considered a collaboration.
Yeah.
You want me to talk into the microphone?
Yeah.
Everything is considered a collaboration. Sometimes you get minor input. Sometimes you get a lot of input, and it just depends on who you're working with and who your cast members and your producers and directors and who, company and set design and, all these things. But yeah.
You decided, you agreed to do it, showed up. Was there any nervousness at all, or were you just ready to go?
I think always when you're like performing or, there might be a little bit of jitters or something like that. Did you get nervous today before you came and met me? Because I can tell you put your shorts on.
I just did another podcast.
Let's get you to stand up. I want everyone to see
my
his
shorts?
Outfit. That
I got shorts on. No,
stand up, Michael.
What are you talking?
Stand up, Michael.
Why does it matter that I got shorts?
Come on, show him your outfit. Turn around.
What?
Turn around. This
look great. This is awesome. These are great shorts. What's the matter with board shorts? It's 107 degrees outside. I usually wear pants.
In comparison to me.
Yeah. I mean, you don't have board shorts on, but
Should we get a photo? Let's get.
No, we're gonna at the end. We'll get a photo at the end. Sit down. No, we'll get a photo at the end. I promise. This is great. I love that you stood up though. That's terrific. So in this whole situation, you're doing that. I have a question. When you're filming,
yes, Michael. Anything for you, Michael.
When you're filming studio stuff, are you doing back to back to back? Are you taking trips back and forth to LA? I was talking to Destiny Dixon, and she was like, I go there and I was filming scene, and then I would just go home. I would get all my scene. I would have a contract for X amount of scenes. I would get all my scenes done as quickly as possible, and then I would leave. Is that what it was like for you?
I did some filming here in Vegas, and then I would also film in LA as well.
Yeah.
I did some filming in Miami. So yeah. Yeah,
and you went to the UK to do filming too, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I
love the UK. I love any time I can get away.
When you film, do they set up all the logistics? Do they do everything for you, hotel, everything like that?
Are you highly interested? I might be able to make some calls.
It's I'm interested in this business model. I'm kind of interested. Yeah. I don't want to do this business model, but I'm fascinated by how the whole thing works.
And what is it exactly that fascinates you?
Like crazy stuff. Like what can you write off doing adult entertainment? Can you write off a boob job? Can you write off your hair?
You've probably already asked other girls this question and gotten answers.
Yeah?
Yeah.
A few times, but not specifically write-offs.
So I am actually a tax lawyer, so I might be able to help you a little bit. But if you do get your things done in order to pertain towards your business, then you can write those things off as long as it pertains to your business.
Yeah.
And those things, for example, could be services that would help you to become a model on set if that truly is what you do for your job. So if you're getting paid a certain amount per shoot, and then you have X amount that you spent on, being there, so then you can recoup those expenses, some of those expenses.
Got it.
But everything is obviously within reason and has to be verified, and yeah.
When you started doing that, did your feature work blow up?
When I started doing
when you started doing adult, did you start getting more feature work, like traveling around and doing?
Yes, I've always traveled though. I've traveled since I did Playboy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you say the majority of your income was coming from the feature work or from doing the filming, the studio work?
I would say that it was like a mix of both, and I just don't turn down opportunities. And if I can work on something cool with and I know that it's going to be fun and legit, and I'm, going to enjoy myself, and, and it's going to be a vibe, and I'm going to like the look, I trust the process completely, and I just let go because I'm working with all very professional people. So.
Are you getting into real estate before 2017 or after 2017?
I've always been into real estate.
Uh-huh.
And really since even before I could even buy anything, I was into real estate.
Yeah.
So I've always been obsessed with like looking at listings, and like I watch the market constantly.
Do you buy for flips? Do you buy for Airbnbs? Do you buy rental properties? Like what would you usually look for?
I buy anything that I personally want to fix.
Okay.
So, if I like it and I think I can, like location is definitely important.
Sure.
Location is one of the most important things when you're looking at, number one thing actually, when you're looking at real estate.
Jeremy Lewis told me to tell you to call him so he can sell your house and get you a better house. That's what he just said.
Aw.
Yeah. And then the other thing I was going to ask you is,
do you have like a live chat going on about me?
no, I don't. Not when I did a photo shoot.
He keeps looking down at the phone. I'm like, I want to ask you what you're looking at.
I got questions. I got my questions for you.
Oh,
Yeah.
geez.
I got tons of questions for you. Yeah.
What is this? Where are you at?
Huh?
Okay, you're at the bottom?
Yeah. No, I haven't even looked hardly any of these questions.
Working cut? What does that mean?
Working out.
Oh, working out.
Working out. So like the thing is, you do a lot of gym videos, and you can throw up a lot on the on the leg press.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Have you always been that strong, or is this something you've worked up to?
Gosh, you're making me feel like I want to go to the gym. I enjoy it.
Yeah.
I think it's good to try to aspire to something, but my boobs are so big, so I pretty much have to like strap them down.
Yeah.
Like when I'm in there, and yeah, you gotta strap them.
So I guess my other question is, I've seen you're in public gyms. What is that like? You
seen me at a public gym?
No, I've seen you take videos where you're doing leg press and
I'll
you're
go to a public gym anytime.
Yeah. So then I guess my next question is, how does that work?
What up to the peeps.
I would imagine a lot of dudes come up and start talking to you while you're working out. How does that work?
Not too particularly.
Really?
I mean,
Okay.
Because you kind of have to invite that type of energy. If you're just like about your shit and you're working out, like you're throwing weight, like they're not going to come talk to you because you're about your shit.
Yeah.
But if you're just standing there taking selfies and kind of sticking your ass out, well, then they're going to be like, okay, I'm going to go holler at her because she's not doing nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So if you come in like looking like, oh, like I don't want to be talked to, guess what? You're not going to get talked to.
Yeah.
That's just how life is. You create this energy.
Yeah.
You make this energy. That's what people need to understand. All me, about me, all this effervescence, who is Nicolette, blah, blah, blah. This was a character. This is all a character. Everything you're seeing right now, it's not real. None of this is real. This is all energy. This is all atoms and molecules and little science stuff, So it's just, sorry to break it to you guys, whoever doesn't want to hear reality, but that's the reality.
No, this audience likes to hear that.
Okay, because it's all true. I don't mean to like burst your bubble or anything, but like it's just the way it is. Like not all that glitters is gold, And like we make our surroundings, we make it look good, but it's pretty much like 98%, 99% BS of the things that you see like in the entertainment world.
Yeah.
Like the things that you're watching on Instagram or the videos that are popping up about people, not a lot of that is real. A lot of it is fabricated to make it look good. Social
media is fake, and I'm okay with that because the money's real. You
make it look good, Michael.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah.
So social media has changed a lot from when you first got on Instagram to now. You would probably admit they're a lot stricter now. You said there was a war on cleavage that you felt like with Instagram.
Well, okay. I think Instagram is now, thankfully, thank you, Instagram. But I think now you are creating, or you are allowing more adult creators onto your platform, which I think is a way of accepting that there are more people on this earth.
Nicolette,
that there's a wide multitude of people.
I gotta be honest with you, that's not why they're doing it. They're doing it because they started the subscription service. That's all. That's the only reason they're doing it. They're doing it to make money. That's the only reason.
That or whether
they're trying to undercut OnlyFans
from a good place.
Yeah.
I think that not disrupting, as long as people are not hurting other people.
Yeah.
This is how I feel about this. Okay. And my true like heart of hearts, like if I was to meditate about this, this is how I would feel. I feel that you can't disrupt anyone else from being on a platform because they have equal right to be there just as much as you, as long as they're not spreading hate.
Yes.
Or as long as they're not, messing with other people or doing like full nude, I think it should still be allowed. So yeah, I mean, I feel like what's on there is really could be censored to, younger kids being on there too. Like they obviously, it's all about parenting, right? So you don't want your kids to follow certain, accounts that would be bad for them to be watching. And if I was a parent right now, I would just be watching very closely what my kid was looking at. That is if I really gave them a cell phone before they're like 15.
Sure.
Because I kind of think that it's better to wait until your kids get to be teenagers before you give them cell phones, because cell phones, contain so much information and not all of it is good information. So I wouldn't want to really take that away from some kids, but I know some kids are like just way ahead of like where they are. Like they're just very, very advanced now. Whether or not that's a good or a bad thing, I think some parents are making the decision to try to keep their kids a little bit more sheltered now.
So what do you think the world's relationship with adult content should be? Like obviously there's an age at which no one should be allowed to see it, right? 13-year-olds should not be able to look at porn. I think we agree on that.
A lot of this just comes back to parenting, like parental controls.
What would you want though for your kids? Like at what point would you feel your son is 19 years old and he's college and he starts looking at porn? Would you have a problem with that?
Legally, when my son is 18,
he can do whatever he wants.
He can do what
But
he
what would
wants.
you feel comfortable with as a mother?
I always want to maintain a good relationship with my son.
Right.
Or daughter.
Yeah.
And so I feel like they should be able to come and talk to me about anything, forever.
Yeah.
And I would always be curious about what they were doing.
Sure.
So, more so I would just like to be a good parent and have a good relationship.
Do you think that men, it's funny because we had Sterling Cooper on here and he said, and same thing with orangutan. Have you ever shot with orangutan?
Yeah.
Mike Tang, they both said the same thing.
He's cool.
Yeah. Mike Tang said porn is not the problem, it's the dosage. It's like there are men right now who are getting to debilitating levels of pornography.
Like if you're asking me if it's saturated,
that's
then
what I'm
absolutely.
asking.
Like it's very saturated. There's many sites. And also we're accumulating more media as time goes on because like the internet is still like fairly new. So like, like there's more and more content that's being uploaded to this, massive thing. But I guess, what do I think, your initial question, what do I think America's relationship with porn should be? I think that it's a big business and it does bring a lot of happiness into people's lives. And with anything, it's in moderation.
Okay.
So I think that people should really kind of think of more about balance and okay, porn, yes, porn can actually be used for a lot of things, and even for like married couples. So a lot of married couples throughout America watch porn. And I would get countless messages from people saying, thank you, you helped us stay together. So, I mean, it is a good thing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's a great thing.
Yeah.
And, but on the flip side, it's amazing that this art exists. It's amazing that people even, that we get to do something like this, which is like, it's so like creative and cool.
Uh-huh.
And I look at it the same as if you were doing like a regular photo shoot or if you were doing a runway show. It has the same artistic elements as that. I think it's cool that we're able to even have something like that. And I appreciate it the same way as if you were to appreciate music.
Yeah.
It's a gift just like anything else. But it can also, if you have negative or evil intentions for it, then absolutely, like, it could come out like that. Like what's going on with, like, you know, the sex trafficking, things like that. That is obviously like something that needs more attention, needs help, needs addressing. But yeah, there's good and bad to everything.
Yeah.
You know, and everything needs moderation. And you know this.
Of course.
You know this because you have a schedule. You wake up in the morning. You go out throughout your day. You accomplish different things. You talk to many people. You get on group chats at probably all hours of the day. You know what I mean? So you live a balanced life. You have the time with your girlfriend. You have your time at your gym, right?
Yeah.
Time at the podcast. And, you know, I think more people need to just take heed of that. It doesn't even matter if you don't have a job right now. Don't get completely down on yourself, because you got to pick yourself back up, dust yourself off, start over again. And every time you get knocked down, just keep going, just keep getting up, you know, and eventually you're going to get there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I was listening to a Miley Cyrus. I love Miley Cyrus song, and she was like that old song that she sang. It's called The Climb. And it's like, she says it's about the climb, and really, like, that makes me think, like, you know, that it's more so about the journey of getting there than it is really about getting there.
Yeah.
And that's
the journey. Yeah.
Yeah. It's about this, like, okay, you know, not many people, like, are coming to my show, and then, like, you grow and you get more people coming to your show, and then you get, you know, and then you make more connections, and then you're the person who's connecting these other people. So you're like connecting all these people.
Yeah.
And, like, you're a connector. You're a connector.
That's what I try to teach. Yeah. Connector,
So,
being a connector.
yeah.
Have you had any, if you could go back 10 years, or let's say, you would have posed for Playboy in 2010, so 13 years. Is there something, if you could go back and tell your older...
2011, 2012.
Okay, so let's go back, the 11 years. If we go back to that time period, is there something you could go back and tell yourself to do different?
Ooh.
Read more books, get into real estate earlier, don't work with this photographer, work with this person. I don't want to film with this guy. I do want to film with this guy. Is there anything like that?
You know what? Like, no, it wouldn't be about, like, any one person. It would just be more so, like, just, like, believe in yourself. Like, believe in yourself.
But Nicolette, I never felt like you haven't believed in yourself. I think you've always believed in yourself.
I definitely have come a long way.
Yeah.
But no, I definitely always get nervous for things, and I always kind of, like, shy down a little bit. Yeah, for sure.
So you in the gym, you have a relationship in the gym. You like going to the gym, I can tell.
Do.
Most you've ever squatted?
Oh, I don't know.
You don't know?
I could probably squat you.
I'm pretty sure you could. But, like, I think I saw you with, like, 4 plates on a leg press one time. Is that true?
Yeah,
Is that
probably.
Could you do 4 plates?
Maybe, yeah.
On a leg press?
I
Yeah.
don't know about now. Maybe 3 right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But at one point, probably in your peak of your powers.
I like you saying I'm strong.
Yeah, of course.
Ooh.
You're gonna have children, and they're gonna play linebacker somewhere.
Oh, you think?
Yeah. Your kids are gonna be starting at Texas or USC at some point.
We'll see.
Is there anyone that you had a bad experience with, like
No.
filming with, and nothing like that? Photographers?
No, I love everybody.
One thing I've noticed is that you're so bubbly that do you ever feel like you come off as intimidating to some men? Because you are, you're like in heels. You're like 6'3". You're the blondest girl with the biggest boobs and the bluest eyes. Like, you are that girl. And do you ever feel like you intimidate them, or do they ever tell you that you intimidate them?
You keep saying I have blue eyes. I think my eyes are green.
Green. I meant to say green. Sorry.
So you're saying, like,
do you ever feel like you
intimidating?
intimidated? Yeah. Do you ever feel like you come off as intimidating?
Ooh, I don't think so. I mean, I might just be, like, a little bit tall, but, you know, I like being tall anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I've got heels on.
Yeah. Awesome. And then
I think I just like, you know, I don't know.
well, you have red hair and green eyes. That's like the rarest combination. Wait.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Wow.
Well,
You
my mom looked like a little bit like Madonna.
Did your mom ever model?
Well, she did, but a lot of our photos are like of her being pregnant with me. And they're beautiful. Like really, really beautiful.
Is she 5'10"?
No. My mom's like 5'7".
And your dad's like 7'2"?
My dad is 6 feet.
Okay.
So I am exactly in between both of them. Yeah. But my mom was like very, how do I say this? Like she had a very short haircut, like short blonde haircut.
Yeah.
And she had like little dark roots, and like that was like very in at that time, like that bleached blonde hair look. And then she had like a mole just like Madonna. And she was pregnant with me, and like her belly was like out to here. She could barely drive. Like she couldn't even drive.
I was 10 pounds when I was born. 10 pounds, 2 ounces. Yeah. I think I was like 2 weeks late.
I was 8 pounds, 10 ounces.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you have any brothers or sisters?
I have an older sister.
Do you have a close relationship?
Yeah, my older sister is an angel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
My older sister did everything right.
Maybe you did everything right. How do you know?
I love her.
That's awesome.
She's very smart.
Yeah. Where did you come up with the name Nicolette Shea?
Well, everybody asks me this. You know, Shea is just kind of like, I like Shea because it's smooth and it makes me think of shea butter. And
see, I thought because you were part Irish. That's why I thought it came from.
Well, because I just shortened my last name. So it was like, and then I didn't think people would understand like she.
Yeah.
Or Shea, like without the A.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, it makes sense, like Shea.
And Nicolette, because you don't spell it like Nick. It's not It's not N-I-C-H. It's N-I-K-O-L-E-T-T-E. So you spell it different. So where did you come up with the name Nicolette?
You know, I didn't come up with it. It was kind of just gifted to me.
Yeah. Was this? Did you dance like at the Rhino? Was this the name you danced under?
No. Oh. No, I had like, I would always go under like different names.
Really?
Yeah. I had like many different names.
There's always a Cindy. There's always a Cinnamon. There's always a Strawberry. There's always a Becky. There's always a...
I was definitely...
There's always a Genesis.
Yeah.
There's always a Gemini. There's always like every club has these girls.
Yeah. I like M names.
M names?
Yeah.
You're Monica or... Michelle or something like that?
I like Mackenzie.
Mackenzie, okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Here's one way out of left field. You were part of the Yeezy campaign for president.
Uh-huh.
How did you end up as part of that?
I was asked.
Yeah? Mm-hmm. So I forgot. There's some porn star that Yeezy's friends with that like kind of connected him to everyone. Who was that? Oh, you don't? Okay.
I don't want to talk about this
one. Okay, sounds good. We don't have to talk about this. Yeah, sounds good. And then the other thing is, what I was saying before, who are your favorite, you mentioned Jenna Jameson, right? You mentioned, who are your favorite performers that you've seen before, both from Playboy, from the modeling industry, and from the adult industry?
From the adult industry?
Yeah, both. Like who are your favorite playmates, and then who are your favorite girls in the adult industry?
Favorite girls in the adult industry. There's a lot. There's so many.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean.
Is there anyone you'd be nervous to meet?
I said Jenna Jameson was like a huge inspiration. And also I would just remember dancing and reading her book. And her book helped me through a lot of uncertain times. Through like times when I wasn't really sure what was going to happen, and I was just basically like living and, you know, dancing every night and working like 7 nights a week. So, yeah. She gave me like reading her book gave me like the inspiration to just keep going. Like no matter what. Yeah. Yeah, shout out to Jenna.
Right?
Yeah.
She's from here. She was a ballet dancer. I believe she went to UNLV and then started doing adult work. Yeah.
And now she found like, you know, the person that she likes to be with.
Yeah.
And like, and it's kind of hot. It's kind of sexy. And I'm, you know, good for her and live your life.
Do you, I'm bringing this up because I remember you, on one other interview, you talked about Brazzers House, which is like a reality thing that you were doing with a bunch of other adults. Is that what it was called, Brazzers House?
Yeah, I did Brazzers House 3.
Okay.
And I won the show.
Okay. Do you think that whole community?
It was a reality type.
Right, a reality show. Okay,
contest.
got it.
It was a contest of 20 porn performers. And we basically just had sex for like nonstop.
Did you
for like 4 days?
Were you in the house the whole time? You never left? It was just they were just shooting in the house. The whole time?
They shot day and night.
Okay.
And through like everywhere.
It was just 4 days
in the whole entire house, everywhere, outside, inside, the shower, the bathroom, the laundry room, the kitchen, the living room, the giant pool, like the guest house, the cabana. We were on like 15 acres. So I don't remember how many acres, but this place was big, and it had like a whole entire like golf course and like basically you could get lost back there. Yeah.
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 Was it an enjoyable experience?
Yeah, it was really fun, and you know, I didn't expect it. It was all voted on by the fans.
Yeah.
So I was really lucky to, you know, that my fans cared for me that much, that they would show up and that they would vote for me. And you know,
were they live streaming it?
I was just shocked.
How did the fans involved? Were they live streaming it? How did that work?
No, it went on for weeks after the.
Oh, so you do all the recording in 4 days, and then they released episodes like a reality. Gosh, okay, all right, yeah. Because I remember in the interview you're like, and then we ended up with an orgy at the end. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we did an orgy at the end. That was like the final, and then they watched it, and then they voted on it. And we actually had another finale after that in LA as well. Yeah, so it was like finalists, and then you know, like everything got narrowed down to only be about like 4 or 5 girls for the finale, and then we did the finale.
Would you do it again?
Absolutely, yeah. I would do it again, and I would also go and host it.
Yeah.
Because I just have a very open-minded view about sex in general, I think. But, you know, some people might think that that's like a little bit off-putting, but I don't personally.
Well, your fans don't.
Yeah, they don't. And I also think like you only, like, I live by this, that you only live once. So like, I feel like life is very short, and whatever I left here, I'm very thankful to have left that here, you know?
Yeah.
And so I guess I'm just trying to make life a little bit more meaningful by, you know, helping people, and aspiring to, you know, maybe be a better version of myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you make any friends from the Brazzers House experience?
It was a stark competition between all the girls, because it was like there was only going to be one winner. So I think that, and also after that, a few of those girls are not in the industry anymore, and including myself.
Yeah, what's interesting is I think wasn't, because I watched the interview with Logan Paul with Johnny Sins and Kissa Sins, and I believe Kissa was in that whole thing without Johnny. Because I know there's a big kerfuffle about Kissa starting to film without Johnny and then leaving Johnny afterwards. But she kept the last name Sins, which is kind of ironic. But yeah, that was kind of an interesting situation. Now, you mentioned,
they been on your show?
No, I haven't. No, I didn't either one of them. I don't know either one of them. The question I have, so we talked about you dating in high school, and then we talked about you dating afterwards. Like you weren't really interested when you were in Playboy. Now you talked about earlier, you were talking about somebody sweeping you off your feet. What is your, do you think it's more likely, that you would date someone in the industry now?
Ooh, in the industry now.
Yes. Do you think, because the thing is, right?
What industry?
Adult industry. Like someone in the adult industry, right?
Well, because
So you know Sarah Jesse, right?
I would say I am, yeah, I'm more apt to date someone in the entertainment industry.
Okay.
So, like, more of a widespread leash
Got it.
than just because I'm really, really interested in music. And I love music, and I also love, like, clubs and DJs and, like, that type of, like, being in the studio type vibe. Yeah. I love sounds.
So, but someone that you would...
Like, I love this sound right here. Right here.
We got some ASMR here. We just went viral. All right. So, but you picking someone to date.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Fuck.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So going back to this.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, Michael. Yeah. Just kidding, guys.
All right. So,
Just kidding.
do you
Give me a high five.
High five. You're my favorite. Here we go.
Yeah?
All right. So going back to this thing. So you and I had a conversation briefly about this. I don't know if you remember, but when you started doing OnlyFans, you have a lot more control now.
Yeah.
You can film at your house if you want. You can film with someone you're dating if you want.
Anywhere and everywhere.
Right. My friend Paris, I think, was filming for you for a while, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So Paris is a buddy of mine. And so in these situations, what has changed? I imagine you keep a larger cut now, like of your revenue, right?
Correct.
Way higher.
You also have more freedom.
Okay.
You have more creative freedom.
Yes.
As far as what type of content you'll create and where you'll create it at and who you'll do it with and all those parts. Which I enjoy.
So you control all of that. Do you usually rent a location or do you shoot at your house?
And sometimes if you're, offered a place, you can film there. Or you can film when you're on the road or when you're at home, anywhere.
Got it. When you reach out to other people to collab with, you just reach out to them on Instagram? Do you use
a lot of people I wouldn't really reach out to unless I know, but there are a lot of circumstances where people will like DM me or they'll DM me on Twitter or DM me on Instagram and say like, hey, let's get together, or they can send me an email too. So.
Okay, cool. And your experience with that, you feel is more positive than say doing studio stuff, or do you like doing studio stuff more?
I like doing both. I like doing both, but recently I've just, well, yeah. I'm really into real estate.
Yes.
Okay, so like I just have to say that because like I just like to like I more so like to like rip out like bathrms and
okay,
stuff.
that's what you're more interested in now.
What I get off on.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like it's just like I don't know. Like I have like such a wide range of interests, I think.
So maybe dating someone who's a real estate developer.
Either real estate developer or like even I dated a contractor for a little while.
Yeah.
I almost married a contractor.
What, really?
Yeah. When I was like, cause we dated for like 4.5 years. And, yeah, but like I was still dancing at the time.
Would you, if you had a relationship with a guy and he wanted you to not film with other dudes, would that be possible?
It would depend on the situation.
He wants to marry you.
I mean, it'd have to be something like to where I understood, like, that this, like, I'd have to agree to it. Obviously.
Of course you have to agree to it. So the reason why
what's the proposal?
So you know Sarah Jesse, right?
Yeah.
So she lives here in Vegas, and she has her live-in partner and her kids with a partner, she still films with other guys.
I guess like everybody's situation is different.
So what I'm saying is that the situation that you would want. So you'd still be like, hey, I have a boyfriend and I still film.
I only want like one guy.
Okay.
So yeah, like.
So what I'm saying, you'd be open to monogamy.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I'm naturally a monogamist.
I think some people would argue with you on that, but
maybe they will. But like I spent a lot of years being in relationships.
Got it.
So, like, I don't have any problem with monogamy. I actually spent a very short period of time being single.
Yeah.
So, if we look at it like that, then when I filmed my scenes was the only time that I was single.
Okay. So you're talking about just when you're doing studio porn, that was the only time?
I'm like living my life. Like,
yeah, for sure.
I just want to be free. I just want to, make cool stuff with cool people.
Right.
I want to collab. I actually just want to get better at like being a good, more rounded person.
Yeah.
And if it is someone that can add to that or could like help in that type of way, then I guess it makes sense. You know what I mean? Like, that's why I was saying, like, if it's aligned, like if you're aligned, yeah, then it makes sense.
Do you listen to audiobooks ever?
Yeah.
I got some really good books on real estate and creating funnels and sales if you're interested.
Okay.
You just let me know. I'll send them all to you.
Okay.
Yeah. The guy who was on here yesterday with me was Ryan Pineda, who's the real estate guy.
Yeah, I know. I went to one of his open houses.
Yeah. So Ryan is a buddy of mine, and we're gonna probably start doing some stuff together.
Oh, that's
cool.
But
I learned so much from the interview.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do his show here pretty soon.
What did he say?
About everything. I mean, he had a million things to say. Did
you guys talk about like the current like economic state of real estate? Like, what did he say about like the current financial market? So
one of the things he talked about was the concept of so hedge funds are coming in and buying single family units.
Yeah.
And they're weathering the storm. They're buying them for 10-year returns. And so they're not looking for a deal. They're buying them at 100% or 110% of what the normal value is. And he's like, normal people would not be able to make money this way. But because they're willing to hold on to this inventory for 10 years, they end up doubling their revenue. And this is when you're dealing with like say a hedge fund that has several $100 million, several $100 billion.
Yeah.
You can't take all that money and dump it into one small cap stock. You need a huge asset class in order to do that.
So they're buying it all.
They're buying everything they can, and he's
that's interesting.
He's still doing wholesaling.
They probably can hold on to it forever.
Yeah, they have the capital and reserve in order to do that.
Okay.
Whereas like a flipper, you're flipper, and then all of a sudden the market crashes and you have all this inventory that you're fucked on.
What are they doing with it in the meantime? Are they renting it out?
Probably, or they're just selling them. They're selling them to people, or something.
Where are they mostly buying stuff?
They go to auction and buy everything that's single family.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's the same. New houses.
So it is still very competitive out there.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, but so one of the issues is like in all other places, like for instance, the development of this television right here. We can make this TV in different countries, and the countries will compete to see who can do it cheaper. Right?
Oh.
But in the United States, we have the highest standard of living of almost any industrialized country.
Anywhere.
But the people who build your house live here. They're not going to work for $3 an hour. The guys who make this TV might. You see the difference?
Yeah.
So in some place, there's like human physical labor has a limitation, and because of that, housing starts have a limitation. Does that make sense? The amount of qualified electricians and carpenters as long as we live under a limitation, there's always going to be, for new homes, there's always going to be more demand than supply as the population increases and the standard of living goes up. And so that's why he's like this crash that other people predicted. He said, I don't think this crash is going to come. And that's essentially what he's going through now. Well,
it has to at some point.
I think there'll be a correction, but I don't think there'll be a huge crash.
There always has to be a correction in the market.
Yeah, but
every 11, 12 years.
Aren't
we like past due?
I work in finance, like this is what I did before this, and I don't believe any of that stuff. I think all of it's just like, it's an oversimplification of random markets.
Okay.
Yeah, I think all of it's random. But no, it's interesting that you want to get into that, and I think
there definitely is a time to sell and a time to buy.
But you're just guessing. I think there's no way. If I put my money into a thing, I have to, in order for me to receive a return, I have to take on risk. Does that make sense? Even with my company, right? I started my company with $1,500, right? And we've done $10 million in revenue. I took a risk though. I could have lost all that money. And the other risk is I could have wasted all this time making these videos, doing this YouTube channel. I could have wasted all this time. You could have told me to go fuck myself. Nobody would have come on my show. All of these risks I could have taken, but I didn't take. All the sweat equity I put into this. But this is the most lucrative thing by far I've ever done in my entire life.
Wow, very
This
cool.
and then my coaching program.
Yeah.
And so when you come to that realization, all of it takes risk. If I'm going to put in a little money and a lot of equity, like wholesaling, then in that case I can make money that way. But if I'm going to put in a lot of money, I don't even have to put in a lot of like time. For instance, if I had $40 billion and I wanted to buy the Dallas Cowboys and they sold them to me, I don't have to do shit. I just hire a CEO and then I go on vacation.
Okay.
That's all money and no time. But if I'm willing to put in a ton of time and a little bit of money, I can also start a business that way. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And by the way, a lot of girls on OnlyFans, that's exactly what they're doing. They're putting in time and not as much money because they're filming on their fucking iPhones at 60K, 60 frames per second in 4K.
Good quality.
Right? Which, by the way, that's another thing. I was talking to Nara about this. I was like, Nara, what kind of cameras do you use? You use Sony A7S? He's like, no, I just use fucking iPhones.
She uses her phone.
I just got a bunch of iPhones. And it's credible because the difference between like the Red Dragon, like the $38,000 Alexa camera, right? And then right here I have the A7S, the Panasonic, the Olympia, and the Canon. And then right here I have the iPhone. They're shrinking. They're getting to the point where the iPhone is almost caught up to the DSLR.
What are all these seven
These are all iPhones
phones that are all around?
These are all iPhones. Look at you. Yeah. Can you put that one on her? Can you put that one on her right here? I want to see this angle right here.
What is that?
This is another one. We have a side angle. We hardly use this, but I love this angle right here.
Let me toss it up.
Yeah, see if it'll pop up. Anyway, no rush. But yeah, I mean, it's one of the things that I love is that we can do that. We have robotic arms up on these phones right here. Yeah, and people don't know the difference. And so it's one of these things where you can create just amazing amounts of content,
cool.
isn't it? It is cool. That's why I want you to come do a show here. I think it'd be great. So you start doing OnlyFans, and then you get to choose. When you choose a guy to film with on OF, when you do that, what are the criteria that you need to choose? Is it his following? Do you have chemistry with him? You've always met him beforehand? Like, what are the things you choose?
No, I wouldn't say that I've met them before.
Okay.
Sometimes, I mean, initially you would want to meet though before you would like do a scene.
Yeah.
But I guess it's whoever you're attracted to.
Okay. So you would see pictures of them online and be like, I'm attracted to this person. I want to film them.
Or like you meet them at an event, like a convention.
Yeah.
Or a club. Or like at the grocery store.
Yeah.
Whole Foods.
Have you met someone you filmed with at Whole Foods? You should just say yes, even if it's not true. Hey, Chase, don't even worry about it. You should just say you should just say yes, even if it's not true.
I have not, but I would be open to filming something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just in the Whole Foods. Fuck it. Just do it.
Sure.
You know what else is weird about our relationship? Do you like randomly? I would get messages from you. I would just be like, "Hey, going to this event," because I invite you to everything. Well, obviously, right? My birthday, everything. And sometimes you say yes, and sometimes I don't hear from you. And then randomly out of nowhere, you'll hit me up and be like, "Where are you going tonight?" You do this more than, and you probably do this more than any one of my friends.
Yeah.
And then like I set you up. You're Nicolette. You can walk into any club. You don't need me. But you hit me up, and then like I'll set up a comp for. Do you remember that one time I set up a comp
Where
for?
have we been?
We've
been to a lot of places.
So we went to. Do you remember we went to Intrigue that one time with 11, with Kimmy and Keena and?
Oh yeah, Intrigue was like the old like.
Yeah, it was a tryst.
Oh, that was back in the day.
Do you remember we went?
You're going back.
We went
right
to
now,
Omnia.
Michael.
No, but like the last time we went out to a club was at Omnia. Do you remember this? I took you on stage at Omnia.
I think we've been on stage at like every club.
Yeah, obviously we went on stage at like Excess a ton of times.
I thought you were going to talk about Zook.
Oh wait. Oh yeah, that's right. I see you at Zook all the time. I totally forgot about this. Wait, what was the last time we were at Zook? Oh, that's when I introduced you to my girlfriend the first time. We were on stage at Zook for Tiesto, and you were in stage. You were in the booth with Tiesto.
You're still with her?
Huh? Yeah, of course. Yeah. She loves you. I'm going to see her right after this. So that whole thing. One of the things that I thought was interesting is like I always wondered like why you'd call me to do this thing that you could do easily, and then I asked a bunch of girls about it, and it was like one of these deals where, as a woman, and you tell me if I'm wrong about this, but like I'm just going to handle everything. You're going to get treated all right. You're going to go in like this is why you'd have a VIP host, right? And because the thing is like I said before, you don't need my help.
I just kind of think like you kind of how do I say this? Like like the cool places.
Yeah.
So like you're not gonna go anywhere lame.
Yeah.
Like
I'm saying
but
like
I don't really pay attention to like going out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like if I show up, like okay, I'll show up, but like I usually like get paid to like do an appearance. So it's like if I don't like if I'm going out on my own free will, like I'm just going out for a good time.
Do you remember we went to dinner?
I'm literally going out for a good time.
Do you remember we had dinner recently with Lady and
yeah.
and she had that knife. I was
like that, huh?
Yeah, I was joking with her about her stabbing someone. It was pretty funny.
You're Colombian.
Yes. Oh, that's right. We're both Colombian.
Yeah.
Me, lady, are Colombian, and then Tatiana's Colombian also.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Andres,
Ooh.
lady's brother. And then you sent that message to Andrew Tate. Do you remember this?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, he wrote me back after that. It's pretty funny.
Okay.
That was pretty funny.
Are you still talking to him?
Yeah, every once in a while we'll text. Yeah. Yeah, he's obviously he's waiting trial in Romania, so it's a little different. I wanted him to come out here and do an interview, but like obviously he's not going to be able to do that.
He can't travel right now?
No, he can't. He's not. He's off house. I'm trying to remember if he's off house arrest or not. It's been so long because he was arrested back in December, so I think he may be off house arrest at this point. But he's still got a trial. He's
and
still
his
got,
brother's with him.
Yeah, his brother's with him too, man. I mean, they're regardless. I don't think they're guilty, but they still got to fight. They still got to put up a defense, and so like that's serious business, no matter what. So that's kind of a big deal.
I feel for them.
Yeah, for sure. And you're an animal lover too. Angel, is that your dog? Yeah, you still just have one?
Angel passed away.
Oh my God, really? Do you?
About 3 months ago exactly.
Oh man, that's terrible. Yeah, I just had to put one of my cats down.
Yeah.
I've never had to do it before.
Let's not get on that subject.
Yeah.
I don't want to cry.
Do you have animals now? Do you have any new animals?
I have a 3-year-old.
Oh wow.
Cavachon.
Oh nice.
His name is Benji.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well,
and no more dogs for me after that.
That's hard.
Yeah, because I had so many traumatic things happen with dogs.
Yeah.
It's like too much. It like rips my heart out every time. But I really want a horse next.
Should talk to Kindly.
Yeah.
How about buying horses?
Yeah.
Kindly has a horse.
I'd
Kindly
like
has a few
to
horses.
have a ranch first.
Well, you should you should also talk to Kindly. She has a ranch. She lives out in Nashville.
Yeah.
Yeah. She has all that.
Yeah.
Awesome. What do you have coming up in the future?
What do I have coming up? I guess we'll see what I have coming up. I don't know yet. I'm just living, babe.
We're doing Babes in Toyland the 15th of October for breast cancer awareness in Los Angeles.
Okay.
And then November 30th, we're doing the toy drive.
Okay.
We're also doing one for...
Are you doing it in LA?
Yeah, that's in LA. And then there's one in Vegas, December 16th, we're doing for Dan Fleyshman's world's biggest toy drive. Babes in Toyland is going to donate toys to Dan Fleyshman's. I don't know why I haven't done this before, but Steve Fowler and Dan Fleyshman, I should have gotten them working together a long time ago because their philanthropy is so similar. So hopefully we're going to probably do that this year. And then hopefully we'll do more Babes in Toyland here in Las Vegas. I don't know if you saw the one we did.
Cool.
We did Babes in Toyland a couple weeks ago for Foster Friday Foundation here in Las Vegas. So that's pretty cool. And then I got to set you up with a boyfriend. I think that's the next thing I do this year.
Ooh, I don't know about that.
No? So nobody's going to come sweep you off your feet?
We'll see. We'll see.
Do you want a traditional relationship? Like get married?
I don't know. I guess I would just work it out with I guess we'll see.
Okay.
I don't know. We'll see. I'm a little bit, I don't know. I think I'm more flexible than I give off.
Yeah.
Maybe. Hopefully.
Nice.
Hopefully in this life. You only get to live it once though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Beautiful.
Thank you, Michael.
Well, thank you.
I feel like our time is wrapping up, don't you?
If you got anywhere else to go, yeah, I was out of questions.
I can feel it. I feel it, the energy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you.
Of course.
Thank you for having me on.
Well, thank you guys for checking us out, man. This is
do some more ASMR.
Okay, go ahead.
I love Michael Sartain podcast. Signing off.
Guys, thank you guys so much for checking us out. This is episode 98. I got 2 more. I have a pretty big thing set up for number 100. I'm still planning it out. But yeah, man, I wanted to say I really appreciate it. I'd never thought we'd get to 100.
Show us the muscles.
Show us the. I don't really have any muscles.
No, give me a, yeah.
Like this? Is this all right? All right, cool. We're getting there. I'm getting there. Pretty good for 45.
There we go.
Pretty good for 45. So I really appreciate you guys joining us, man. We're at like 23 million views on YouTube. We hit incredible revenue numbers with the company. For those of you who are interested, man, listen. I'm thinking about in the future doing a program on how I set up a podcast and came from nothing. I don't really have an advantage. I wasn't on a reality show that made me famous. I didn't put any money behind this. I don't have any sponsors, but this has turned into something really incredible and life-changing for me. If you guys are interested in something like that, hit me up. You might want to check out MOAmentoring.com. That's the program. That's the coaching thing that I do. I do male performance performance coaching. If you guys are interested in that, we teach networking, we teach leadership, and we teach you how to end up showing up to a party with 70 girls. With local celebrity status. So if you guys are interested in that, let me know. I love doing this. Doing the podcast has probably been the most fulfilling thing.
Yeah.
When I have great grandkids, this is something my great grandkids are going to be able to look back and be like, when they would talk about their great grandfather, they can actually watch 100 episodes.
What is the most important thing that you've learned from doing this podcast?
Mentors, define mentors. Like if we were going to go through every single thing I learned. So for instance, my sales team, I learned how to do that through Cole Gordon. My ad spend, I learned that from Ty Lopez.
Oh, so you're pinpointing these mentors and then having a mentorship with them?
Yeah, so I might actually have a mentorship. A lot of them I'm just friends with, and a lot of them I just may watch what they do. Like for instance, I do 3 reels a day because Brad Lee does 3 reels a day.
Okay.
So I might follow Brad Lee, I might follow Wes Watson, Dan Fleischman. So I do things for people and ask for nothing in return. I learned that from Dan Fleischman. So like everybody, I learned kind of a thing from using my life, like filming everything in my life and trying to show like preselection. I learned that from Dan Bilzerian. So like I learned a different thing from having a clips channel and making these short clips. I learned that from Rollo Tomasi. All these ideas, doing Zoom calls. I'm trying to remember who the Zoom idea came from, but it was somebody.
Yeah.
But everything in my business, I learned from a mentor, and it's been just nothing but explosive growth. So I do appreciate all these guys that are in my cohort. You know, everybody I mentioned before, even like Justin Waller, like I said before, Rollo Tomasi, all these kind of people. And it's been really great. So I really appreciate this. We're coming up on 100. Thank you so much, Nicolette, for coming on my show. Finally got you on. We've been trying to do this for like years. And I will see all of you next week.